Greetings everyone and welcome. I'm your host Captain Rye, and in today's video I'm playing in the Tier 8 Premium Japanese battleship Kii here in World of Warships. As the battle gets underway, it's domination match mode, it's loop, it is a Tier 10 maximum battle, and there are carriers in play. So, I'm a bottom tier Japanese battleship in this game, and I do have carriers and destroyers to be concerned about. Now, if you're unfamiliar with what the Kii is basically a Tier 8 premium version of the Amagi. It's got the same gun setup and pretty much the same guns as the Amagi, although the dispersion is a little worse than the Amagi. The key differences, of course, here on this ship are that the side of the ship is a little bit flatter than the Amagi. It's a little higher in the water than the Amagi. The ship does have 6-kilometer torpedoes that can be fired off the stern. They've got pretty good arcs there. And the secondaries on this ship are very different than the Amagi. But these secondaries are actually very, very good. Not as secondaries, but as anti-aircraft guns. As I try to turn away as I see a large force of battleships approaching the A cap point, I take a huge, massive hit from one of the battleships firing off in the distance there. That is the problem with this ship. That big flat broadside, as you can see there, is going to earn you a lot of paddlings. But now let's take a look there. We can see the secondaries. There are 4 of these guns, 4 of these turrets on each side. Those are the 100mm dual-purpose guns that you get on that Japanese destroyer line. And they're very, very effective at close ranges with dealing with aircraft. At least for Japanese ships, the anti-aircraft rating on the Kii is pretty damn good. I think I have mine about 77. Not the best in the world, but it will certainly get the job done, as we will see later in this game. Enemy team manages to secure the C cap point, but my team is in the process of securing the A and B cap point, and it looks like we're going to secure the B cap point uncontested. Now, enemy Des Moines pushes out past that island there. He's got 2 destroyers back behind this island that are contesting and trying to cap the A cap point. If we can kill that Des Moines, we can win. I don't quite manage to secure the kill there, but the Khabarovsk does take him out. That Des Moines really didn't have a lot of health left at that point. Torpedoes coming in there didn't have a lot of options either. He basically stuck his nose a little too far out. So, unfortunately, while we did manage to kill that cruiser, we did manage to secure the B cap point. We are currently in the points lead. We're not able to secure the A cap point because the Des Moines isn't the only ship that's in the A cap point. As we can see there, lots of other big nasties pushing up in there, including a couple of battleships there at this point. The Kii's 16-inch guns are pretty reasonable when it comes to regular penetration there. You do have some problems with over-penetrating on cruisers, especially late cruisers that are broadsiding. But it's one of those ships that it can do really, really well if you know how to play it. And the big factor with playing this ship is figuring out exactly where it needs to be on the battlefield. Because you do have those torpedoes, but they're only 6 kilometers. It's kind of like a last-ditch effort because you don't have the best armor, at least exposing your broadside. If you get close enough to use your torpedoes, you're probably not going to last very long. Then again, people tend to forget that the Kii, like the Scharnhorst and the Tirpitz, and the Gneisenau, has torpedoes. And they'll let you get that close. And they'll let you torpedo them. Now, I'm looking at the map situation here, and I'm redirecting my position. Most of the team's battleships are a little too far back for my taste, hanging in the backfield, and I really don't like sitting back there. Although the Kii is perfectly acceptable in this role, I would much rather get up front and be a little bit more supportive of our cruisers, especially now that we can see that the enemy team is trying to cap the B cap point. Now, as the smoke screen dissipates that was left up here, I am detected. The detection range on this ship, it is a battleship, And there we can see one of the enemy destroyers sitting in that cap. And there is the second one. Now that one's not in the cap yet, but he is pushing up there. Am detected by aircraft, which is really annoying because they were planes that I couldn't see until right this second. I am going to continue to push up towards that smoke screen, but I do need to be careful because it is an enemy destroyer. It probably has torpedoes, and so I should expect torpedoes in the water at any moment. Go off detection briefly there, get detected again. Shots coming in, those are probably going to be from another enemy cruiser, the other enemy Des Moines, as he tries to lob armor-piercing and high explosive over the top of me. Now I'm going to turn my ship hard. I'm going to get a set of torpedoes away here because that destroyer is still sitting in that smoke screen. He's still just inside the cap there, just along that island. With any luck, these torpedoes will hit him, but it's hard to say at this point. My team has managed to secure the A cap point though, and with another cruiser kill, we are affirmatively in the points lead so long as we can maintain this lead and not lose any more ships. Torpedoes don't manage to hit anything. There is an enemy cruiser. This guy in the Admiral Hipster is broadsiding. Now this is a problem for him because, as I said, these guns do a pretty reasonable job. Fortunately, there are no over-penetrations. Lots of shots coming in there. The armor on the key there, if angled well, isn't actually that bad. Here's the anti-aircraft blazing away here. Let's see how many of these aircraft I manage to shoot down as he gets a double bomb kill, or a double bomb hit on me, and it sets me on fire twice. All told, by the time those planes manage to get away and my AA stops firing, I managed to shoot down 5 of those planes. So not bad, considering I'm a bottom-tier battleship. Another hit there, big hit there, all over penetrations. Again, that battleship penetration value. Hard to tell. The carrier played a little bit of a role there, trying to bomb that cruiser as well. So there is my first kill of the game. And now the enemy team has lost a destroyer, they've lost a cruiser, well, they've lost 2 cruisers, and they've lost a battleship. Now, one of those cruisers, though, that they've lost is a top-tier cruiser. Speaking of top-tier cruisers, there's that enemy Demonas that was back over there shooting at me earlier. So I fire off shots at him. Not sure if I'm going to hit him or not. I do manage to connect with him. I hit him with a Citadel, so that's going to be a lot of damage for him. More aircraft coming in there. Now, you'll notice that I repositioned myself so that I was back over with support from the Republic here. So the Republic's anti-aircraft, my anti-aircraft, blazing away. Those planes stay a little bit too far away for my AA to really fully be effective and start ripping apart those planes, but I still got a couple more aircraft kills. Unfortunately, our battleship did not survive the engagement. Now I'm going to get myself turned around, get my guns turned back around. The enemy team has pushed in. They've secured the B cap point, but my team, again, pushing back here. We really do have an advantage in this battle. They've lost another destroyer, so they're only down to 1 destroyer. My team still has all 3. We've only lost 1 ship. And provided I can get myself this fire out and my heal going and don't get set on fire again here, hopefully I can recover some health and still continue to be useful in this game. More shots out there. I've got targets of opportunity both in front and behind me. The problem here is that they're all angled. Do manage to connect on that Donskoy there, knock out one of his guns. That's probably got to be pretty frustrating for a Russian cruiser captain, considering that's his only offensive option. Now, of course, since he's giving me bow on, he's trying to get out of the line of fire here. I'm looking for targets of opportunity. There's targets way off in the distance here. Not sure if it's going to be really worth my time and effort to try and shoot at this guy, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try it anyway. Hey, you never know. Plus, he's in a battleship, and he might very well activate his heal and start recovering some health there. So shots out. We'll see if I connect with anything. I'm actually not expecting to connect with anything, but I do manage to hit him, not enough to kill him. A little bit disappointing there. However, we do have a destroyer. I think the Harborovsk is chasing him, and eventually that Harborovsk is going to set that guy on fire, and that will spell the end of him. Enemy battleship pushing up here, but enemy aircraft also pushing up here. This could be a serious problem. I do have a friendly cruiser here. It's the Hindenburg. He's got good anti-aircraft for a German cruiser, for a non-US cruiser. It is only a Tier 9 carrier, but we'll see what happens here as I push up. Now, again, combining my anti-aircraft with his anti-aircraft, we should be able to take out a good number of these planes if they start closing in for the attack. Speaking of closing in for the attack, friendly CV firing off a set of torpedoes there at that battleship does manage to connect with, I think, one, maybe two, but now it's the Key versus the Amagi. And look at this, my big fat broadside there makes this Amagi's shots easy to penetrate. But you know what, at this kind of range, the Amagi, very easy to penetrate as well. Didn't get to fire off my torpedoes and finish him off that way. Really disappointed by that, because anytime I'm in a ship with torpedoes, I always have to get that torpedo hit indication and that flooding ribbon. Just like seeing them adds a little splash of color to my screen. Enemy Donskoy still inside that smoke sky, inside the B cap point. The enemy team is really, realistically, only still in this game because they hold those two caps. He's shooting at me with armor piercing. He's doing a reasonable job. I fire off a set of shots in that smoke screen and actually managed to connect one shot, only over penetrations there. But as I get myself turned in, now I'm angled against this guy, so he's got to switch over to high explosive if he wants to keep shooting at me and be effective. Of course, he could fire high explosive at me and be very effective. Fire off forward set of guns here at the enemy Desmonas, hoping to connect, only over penetrations there. That Donskoy fired again, but it looks like that smoke screen's dissipating, and it is. So here's the Donskoy. Fire off shots at him, rear turret's ready to go. Can I connect with him before he can fire off a shit of shots and set me on fire? Yes, I do. Finishing him off. There's my third kill of the game. Another big, fat, juicy Citadel. More aircraft incoming. This carrier is really getting on my nerves. And you'll notice that our carrier apparently doesn't have fighters available at all. He is basically not shot down any of these planes. He's not really helping and supporting. Of course, then again, I'm also in a bad position where I'm pretty much open and exposed to find myself on this flank. Des Moines takes a big hit from somebody, but he turns broadside to me, and you know what they say, broadside to a battleship? That's a paddling. So there's another Citadel, and there's my fourth kill of the game. And now the enemy team is down to just 3 ships. That's it, just 3 ships. They've got a destroyer, they have a battleship, and they have their carrier. Now the destroyer last spotted chasing down our destroyer way off over there towards the enemy spawn. The battleship back over there engaging at the A cap point with our battleships, and you can see there he's pretty low health. I would have great shots on him if it wasn't for the fact that the spotter aircraft is on cooldown. Fire off shots at the destroyer, which was in range as he pops the smoke screen, but he's dead long before my shots are ever to reach. That was kind of a wasted shot, but I am in a key position to capture the B cap point. And as we can see, the enemy team with their 2 caps, even though we still have the ship's lead, they've managed to maintain a pretty close points total to our own. Last battleship on the enemy team gets taken out, and now it's just that enemy carrier. He's all that's left, and we can see there his fighters chasing down our friendly CV's aircraft, and there is the enemy CV. So I'm going to get myself into the cap here. I'm going to keep myself positioned. Hopefully the carrier doesn't have his aircraft available yet. Let me capture this base location and finish off capping so that my team can get that base cap advantage. Now I fire off the spotter here. I want the best angles. We can see the dive bombers coming in there. We can see the torpedo bombers coming in there. More shots out. Oh my god, yeah, I'm going to get sledgehammered here. That's what's going to happen. I just don't have the health. Managed to survive the first wave there, but the second wave, or the third set of bombers there, part of the second wave, timed perfectly. He knew what he was doing. He's going to finish me off. I'm a big, long battleship. Not much I can do there. Did get the base capture, though, and did land a couple of hits on that carrier. Also, shot down even more planes. We can see there that carrier, he's got pretty much all of his health left. He's got basically all of his planes left. And our carrier, well, he's not being really effective there. We can see he tried to go in and attack him. Of course, he doesn't have any other targets to choose from there, but he's losing all of his planes in the process. Tier 8 plus carriers, I do believe, get access to the defensive fire consumable, although that is only a Tier 8 premium. I know for sure Tier 9 and Tier 10 carriers get that consumable, and it is incredibly effective. It's mainly just used to prevent CV sniping at high tiers, though it doesn't always work out that way. It lasts a long time, and again, it's incredibly effective. Friendly Kharbarovsk pushing up towards the C cap point. If we can grab the C cap point, we can prevent the enemy carrier from gaining any additional points here at the end of the battle. But as we can see, that carrier is a smart carrier player, and somehow, someway, he knows that Kharbarovsk is back over there. So he's going to go after that guy, and that Kharbarovsk has a major problem. He's got 2 sets of dive bombers coming down on him. Fortunately, the dive bombers missed, but now he's got torpedo bombers coming in as well. This carrier guy, he's really, really good, and we can see, again, that difference in skill. The skill difference between our carrier and the enemy carrier is insane, and the only reason my team is winning as well as we are basically comes down to the fact that my team had a lot better players. That carrier is going to force our Kharbarovsk effectively out of the cap. Can our Kharbarovsk make this? Can he torpedo beats? Don't overcorrect there. He avoids that set. He did hit one. Come on, don't overcorrect here. Here come more torpedoes. Kharbarovsk's anti-aircraft blazing away. He might be able to get away with it if he was, say, in the Grozavoy with that defensive fire consumable. He could panic these guys. He does manage to shoot down a couple of these planes. Is it going to be enough, though? Are these torpedoes going to hit? Come on, get out there, run away. Yes, he does survive to live another day, but the carrier did force him out of the C cap point. Now, this is a problem that I have with high tier carriers, though. You'll notice I've managed to shoot down a lot of planes, lowering the squadron numbers. That Kharbarovsk has basically just annihilated the entirety of that squadron, but I guarantee you that carrier is going to launch those planes, and he's going to have full squadrons again. He has so many reserve aircraft, it's absolutely ridiculous. Especially the Japanese carriers always seem to have an insane amount of planes. Jumping around to different ships here, unfortunately. So every time now that we're sitting on this Bismarck, who's got most of his health, big surprise, bottom tier battleship though, all of his health left at the end of the battle. And you'll notice as his shots come in, he's firing high explosive. Yes, a Bismarck firing high explosive carrier. He could easily be firing armor piercing and landing citadels. Kharbarovsk manages to take out that carrier. Look at that, 124,000 damage done in that battle. 13 planes shot down, 4 citadels, 4 kills, 1 base assist. Actually got some secondary hits on things. I'm a little bit surprised by that. Still though, top of the team for XP earn. I know it's a little hard to see there. These are 4K screenshots. 2,600 base XP, 13 planes shot down. I shot down the most aircraft of anybody on my team. But look at that. The enemy carrier, 53 planes shot down. He knew how to use his fighters. Our carrier toward the bottom there. But more importantly, bottom tier battleship, top of the team in a tier 10 battle. Always feels good. Anyway, that's it for today's video, folks. If you liked the video, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment down below, or just alongside in the chat. If you'd like to get semi-regular channel news and updates, you can do so by following me on Facebook. If you'd like to help support me and the channel, you can become my supporter on Patreon. If you've got a replay like this one you'd like to have me take a look at or see featured on my channel, you can send it to my email. Just be advised, it's going to take some time for these replays to show up, depending on what stuff I've got going on. And, of course, you can follow me on Twitch and on YouTube. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.